Hi everybody, it's Laura from Green Tree. Today we're talking about nut butters. So usually when people think of nut butters, the first thing that comes to mind is something like a classic little jar of peanut butter, something like this. But that's just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to nut butters, and also seed butters. So that's something else we're going to talk about today. You can make nut butters and seed butters out of just about any kind of nut or seed that there is. You grind them until they're a nice smooth consistency. Typically they're roasted, which helps release some of the natural oils and give you a creamier finished product. And then those resulting butters can be used in a whole bunch of different ways. Occasionally there are other ingredients added like flavors, sugars, or additional oils. Some of the ones we're going to have here today are just plain, and some of them have some extra added oomph to them. So let me just kind of run through the different nut butters that you can try. This one is a peanut butter. This one actually has a nice little touch of, there's coconut oil in it, which makes it extra creamy. It does add a little more fat, but you know, sometimes you just want something delicious. We also have tahini. Not everybody realizes this, but tahini is actually a seed butter. You've probably seen this before. It's frequently an ingredient in hummus. It's a sesame paste. This can also be used on wraps and in sauces and dressings and all sorts of other things besides just hummus. We also have cashew butter. This is a personal favorite. You can see this is made from roasted cashews. It's a little bit darker than if it was made from raw cashews. It's really, really tasty. One of my favorite ways to use cashew butter is I will spread a layer of it on warm toast and then sprinkle tiny chocolate chips over the top of it. It's actually still pretty healthy as far as snacks like that go, but the creamy cashew butter with that little bit of chocolate makes for a really great snack. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, dessert, whatever. It's really good. We also have, this one's kind of neat. This is a blend of, so this is Pepita Sun Butter. It's a blend of pumpkin seeds and sunflower seeds. This one's really nice if you have an issue with peanuts or tree nuts or both, because the pumpkin seeds and sunflower seeds are much less likely to be an allergen for people than the other types of nut butters. It's still got that nice toasty flavor. It's still got that creamy texture, and you can use it in just about anything you would use regular peanut butter in. I also have, so these are actually Naturally Nutty is the name of this company. These are made in Michigan, which is kind of cool, and they add some extra stuff to theirs. In this case, chia, hemp, and flax. So it adds extra protein, extra omega-3s, extra fiber to the peanut butter, which actually in this case to the almond butter. Sorry, it's backwards, I know. But this is vanilla almond butter. When you get one that's slightly sweetened like this vanilla, they're really great in things like smoothies. You can use them on sandwiches to give it that little extra sweetness without having to add so much jelly to them. It goes really well on, say, crackers with honey. So when it's already got that little hint of vanilla flavor in there, it's just a little extra oomph. And then you can get something that's really got a bit of dessert feel to it. Like this one was just a chocolate cherry peanut butter. This actually has whole dried cherries in it. This is a nice chunky one. This would be great in something like little energy balls or granola bars. You could use it. It adds a little bit of extra chunkiness along with the flavor, as well as being a binder to stick everything together. So besides just spreading these things on sandwiches, like I said, there's a lot more ways to use nut butters. I'm going to run through just a couple for you. One that I really like to do is to take a classic peanut butter, kind of like this one, and put a big dollop of it into something like a simmer sauce. It takes this nice creamy Indian sauce and then adds this extra dollop of protein and savory flavor. It just is going to kind of bring that dish up a little extra level. It works really well with things like broccoli, cashews, chicken, anything that's going to be savory but light. This peanut butter chuck will work really well with. You can also take and use a classic peanut butter or an almond butter, something that doesn't have too much extra flavor in it, and use it as an oil or egg replacer when you're baking. If you have any questions about that, go ahead and send an email to our deli manager at deli@greentree.coop, and he can tell you more about how to do that. You can also use these, any of them will work, as a binder in granola. cashew butter is a really nice treat for that. Classic peanut or almond will also work really well. Like I said, you can use any of those in like energy bars or granola bars as well. They'll hold it together, they'll add extra fat and protein and just keep you going for that little extra bit. And they help you stay full longer than when you use something like a corn syrup or some other kind of sweetener as your main binder. You can also put them in smoothies. I actually really like to use peanut butter in smoothies because it adds protein and flavor at the same time. But if you don't like that peanut flavor, the sunflower and pumpkin seed butter is a really nice replacer where you're still getting all that extra energy from the seeds, but you're not getting that overwhelming peanut flavor that can take over your smoothie. People also like to use them in protein shakes to add even more than the protein powder to the nutrition of the beverage. You can, of course, spread them on sandwiches and wraps, but something you may not have tried is grilled peanut butter sandwiches. I actually will do this with cashew butter too, where you take and you treat the outside of your bread just like if you were making a grilled cheese sandwich, you know, with your butter or oil or coconut oil, whatever you want to use. Spread a nice thick layer of your nut butter of choice. And then I like to use bananas in it. You could also use apples. You can use a little sprinkle of chocolate chips, anything kind of fruity and a little bit sweet, and then grill that just like a grilled cheese. And it's actually a meal and a dessert at the same time, and that's a really nice way to use your nut butters and kind of kick up that peanut butter jelly sandwich just a little bit. And then finally, the other thing that I would suggest is just experiment with adding nut butters to your savory dishes, especially ones like this that have coconut oil added will really melt into the finished dish. So you can add them at the end of like some kind of a stir fry or a sauteed dish, and it'll melt right into whatever sauce you have. Just make sure that the heat's not too high because it can separate a little and bind up. But that's a bunch of different ways that you can use these fabulous nut and seed butters. If you want to try them, come on down today. I'm going to be sampling them with these delicious apples because we have, it's apple season. Oh, here's a fun little tip that I learned from our deli today. This isn't about nut butters, but if you ever want to put out fruit like apples or pears that browns easily, what we do instead of using lemon juice is take a tablespoon of honey and mix that into every quart of water that you have until it dissolves, and then dip your apples in it, and they will stay nice and white for a couple hours, I think, actually. And they don't get as sour as they do if you add lemon juice. So there's your little bonus tip. If you want to try any of these samples, I'll be doing this till 5 today. If you have any other suggestions about how you like to use nut butters, feel free to post them in the comments. Hope you guys are having a happy Monday. Bye.